Alright guys, Darren from Honest Money, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at starting a print-on-demand business. Now this is a business model I'm actually engaged in myself, and I will be launching my print-on-demand business in a few weeks. So what I want to do in this video is share with you all of the research that I've been carrying out over the last few weeks and what my findings have been. I'm also going to share with you some of the suppliers that I've been getting samples from, and if it's something that you're considering doing yourself, I recommend subscribing, as you'll be able to see whether I fail or hopefully succeed with print on demand and whether it is still a viable business to get involved in 2020. Also, if you're looking for a business model that you can start in a relatively short time frame without a huge upfront investment, then I think print on demand is a business model that you should consider. Now in this video there are 5 things that I want to run through, which I think cover where I am at the moment with my print on demand journey. So initially I want to take a look at exactly what print on demand is and how it works. I'm then going to take a look at why print on demand appeals to me. There are some possible concerns that I'm going to discuss based on the research I have carried out. I'm then going to show you the suppliers that I have shortlisted based on the research that I've carried out and also the samples that I've ordered. And then finally, I'm going to give you a to-do list, which is the list that I'm currently working through to launch my print-on-demand business. So the first thing I want to take a look at is what is print-on-demand and how does it work? So in short, I would say that print-on-demand is quite a low-risk business model, and it allows you to sell white label products that feature your own custom designs. And this should become clearer as I go through the video. Now, one of the most popular print-on-demand business models is the selling of custom clothing. In most cases, people are focusing on t-shirts, and if you've been on Facebook recently or any other social media outlet, you've probably seen adverts for bespoke t-shirts that people are selling using the print-on-demand method. Now, with print-on-demand, you are responsible for producing your own bespoke designs and then generating the sales of those products. The designs you create are uploaded to your own e-commerce website. Most people are using the Shopify platform, and there are a number of reasons to this which I'll cover in future videos. The products are then marketed using social platforms such as Facebook, as generally that is where you're trying to find the people who are going to buy on a whim. Many of your sales will be impulse purchases. That's why it's important that you market on the correct platforms. And then when you do generate sales, that sale is passed to a third-party print-on-demand supplier who will print your bespoke design on the product, package it up, and then send it to the customer. You are responsible for the customer service, so if there are any issues with that order, you need to manage any returns, you are responsible for that. And the money you make is the difference between the price that you charge for the t-shirt versus what the supplier charges you. So say for example, you advertise a t-shirt on Facebook, you sell it for £25 and the supplier charges you £10 and you spend £5 on advertising, then you'll make £10 profit, which is a very, very good return on a product that requires very, very little investment. So now I've given you that very quick background as to what print on demand is. I want to explain to you why print on demand appeals to me and why I think it is a business model that you should consider. The first thing is that as businesses go, it is very quick to start up. Like, I'm planning to start my business in 3 to 4 weeks, but if you were really in a rush, you could probably start a print on demand business within a matter of days. So it's a very quick startup business model. It also has fast potential profits. So you could be making profits from your print on demand business again within a matter of days. It's not a case of you've invested in 1,000 units of a particular product and you've got to sell 500 or 600 of those just to break even, and then you make the profit off the remaining 300 or 400 products. That's not how it works. It is much quicker than that. So you could be making profits a lot quicker than you would with some other business models. The other appeal is that there's no inventory required. Now, this is coming from someone who sells on Amazon at the moment. I have quite a lot of money tied up in inventory at all times. So looking at a business model that doesn't require any inventory because the products are only manufactured once an order comes in is a very, very appealing business model to me, and hopefully it appeals to you guys as well. And that is one of the reasons why I class it as a low risk business, because you're not investing thousands of pounds in stock. You're investing some money in setting up the website, maybe getting some branding done and getting the designs themselves done, and then there's some investment in the marketing, but you're not investing any money in stock. So I class it as a low risk business model. It's also very dynamic. So if you launch a t-shirt design that isn't selling very well, you could launch a new design the very next day. It's not a case that you're going to invest thousands of pounds in a product that you then find out 2 months later that you're unable to sell and you've got all that money tied up in stock that you cannot shift. Instead, what you can do is you can just come up with a brand new design, change the marketing, and hopefully start making some money. The other thing that appeals to me as well is that I'm not responsible for managing the orders or the shipping. So when the order comes in, it is passed over to the supplier. They will then produce the t-shirt, package it up, and send it to the customer. So I'm not involved in any of the packaging or shipping of the order. There's also multiple providers, so if you find a print-on-demand provider isn't as good as you'd hoped, or maybe they've let you down, or maybe you fall out for some reason, maybe you're selling, I don't know, a dodgy t-shirt, there's other providers you can use, so your business model is not dependent on one provider. And finally, you can build your own customer base. So every time someone comes to your websites and registers, that is a potential customer that you can market to in future. So you can start to build your own customer base, which is super, super valuable for future products. So although there are a number of things that do appeal to me about the print-on-demand business model, there are some possible concerns which have arisen from the research that I have carried out. The first one is that the market could possibly be oversaturated. Print-on-demand has been about for years and years, and if you go on YouTube, you will see videos that are 5 or 10 years old. So I know that I'm quite late to the print-on-demand market, so potentially it may be oversaturated, but hopefully with the right unique designs and the right marketing, we'll be able to still penetrate this market. The second one is a potential for short product life cycles. So although that was a plus in saying that it's very dynamic, it also could be the case that sometimes a t-shirt design might not be viable for that long. For example, we've got Father's Day coming up in a few weeks. You might do a Father's Day design t-shirt which you can sell for 2 or 3 weeks really, really well, and then that's it. You may need to come up for new designs as we move into the summer. You can then maybe recycle that design next year. So some product designs will have a short life cycle, and some designs you'll launch, they won't sell at all, and you'll just bin those designs and move on. Another concern is that the organic sales are potentially limited. Now, many of the sales that you make will be impulse purchases. It's not going to be a case that people are going to be actively seeking out your products. In most instances, someone is going to be on Facebook, they're going to see your advert, and they're going to make an impulse purchase. So achieving high organic sales will probably be quite difficult with this business model. You also have the issue of potential returns, and this is something I'm still researching at the moment, but if you get a t-shirt made, the supplier themselves will not accept a return unless there is a fault. So if customers buy a t-shirt and maybe there's a sizing issue, I'm not sure how that stacks up, and I need to do further research so that I have the best possible process in place for when the inevitable returns do happen. You're also responsible for the customer service, so maybe if someone does want to return the product, they might not be very happy, and you may be responsible for placating that customer, keeping them happy, or maybe someone wants to know where their order is. Either way, customer service is definitely a potential cause for concern with this business model. And for me, what I would look to do if this business is a success in the long term, I would probably bring in a virtual assistant or something like that to manage any customer service issues so that I don't have to be involved in the day-to-day running of the business. And finally, there are some technical skills required. Now, thankfully, this isn't a major problem for me as I've been in the web world for quite a while, but setting up a Shopify store, integrating it with a provider, producing designs, producing branding, logos and stuff like that, it can require some technical knowledge, or you need to outsource it to the correct people. So those are the possible concerns. So I don't think that there are any serious blockers there. So that's why I'm excited about this business model, and it's why I'm currently in the process of launching my own print-on-demand business. So just before I share with you the suppliers that I have shortlisted and also the suppliers that I have ordered samples from, if you're finding this video useful or you want to follow my print-on-demand journey, please subscribe to the channel. And if you are finding it helpful, make sure you hit that like button as well. So these are the UK suppliers I've shortlisted. What I did last week, I spent a good few hours sitting down looking through all of the providers of print-on-demand services in the UK, and this is what I narrowed it down to. I'm going to do another video in future comparing these providers once the samples arrive, but these are the 4 that I've narrowed it down to so far. The first one up is Printful, who are very well known. They're not technically a UK provider as their fulfillment centre is based in Latvia, but I've ordered from them anyway just so I can compare quality and to also see what the lead times to the UK are actually like. I've also ordered from Incredible, Street Shirts and 215. So there's links there to all 4 providers. Feel free to take a look, but like I say, I'm going to try and do a more in-depth comparison in future videos once I have the samples in hand and I can compare the quality of the material and the quality of the print. You can see that those are the costs, roughly what I spent on the samples. So from each provider, I ordered a men's and a ladies shirt so that I could see what the designs were like. I also ordered one in black and one in white so I can compare the materials, so I can compare the black and the white colouring, and also can compare how the print I've designed comes out on each of those colours as well. So once those samples are in hand, I will be doing a comparison video, so make sure you subscribe to see that in a future video. Now finally, I've got the to-do list. So if you're starting a print-on-demand business and want an idea of what you need to do, this is what I'm working through at the moment. So I've color-coded this so that I can show you what I've done so far. So I have carried out research on suppliers, as I've shown you on that previous slide, and I have ordered my samples. So those are the 2 things that I have done, so that's why they're green. The next thing is to choose a company name and a domain name, and I've got a short list of about 5 at the moment, so these are orange because these are in progress and I'm working my way through. Also doing additional research on print on demand, Facebook advertising, and the returns policy. So I'm spending lots of time on websites, on YouTubes, and reading T&Cs of print on demand providers at the moment. So I would say to anyone that's interested in print on demand, do as much research as you can so that you can understand as many areas of the business as possible. The next things I need to do once I decide on a company name and a domain name is to order my logo and branding. Now this is something I can do myself, but I've outsourced design work previously on Fiverr with very, very good results. I would imagine it would probably cost me somewhere between £20 to £30 to get that done. Then once those samples arrive, which I'd imagine is probably going to be a week or so due to the delays that we are seeing at the moment, I'm going to compare all of the samples, see what the quality is like, and then hopefully choose a provider for my initial launch. Now for that initial launch, I'm going to be designing at least 10 t-shirts. The reason that I want to launch with at least 10 t-shirts is that I'll be able to test the business model properly. If I launch with only a couple designs and they fail, then it could quite easily be the designs. If I launch with 10 different designs, which I believe are really good, and it doesn't work, then for me that will probably be a good indication that print on demand possibly isn't for me and my design skills. Then going to take care of the photography. I found a really good site called Placeit.net. So if you don't want to spend hundreds on photography, this is definitely something to look at actually. What I'll do is I'll take you over to that website just quickly now. So this is the Placeit.net website, and the reason why it looks interesting to me is it looks like a very cost-effective way of showing your design on really, really good photos. So you can see in advance what your design will look like by simply uploading it to the website and seeing it in all types of different scenarios so that you can get the photography that you're going to be uploading to your website looking exactly how you want it to look. And the pricing itself doesn't look too bad. I think it's like $15 a month to use this service. So if you're thinking about doing photography for your print on demand business, definitely take a look at Placeit.net. I think that is where I'm going to be doing my photography for my product listings. And then once I have the photography, I'll be setting up my e-commerce website. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be using the Shopify e-commerce platforms. There are other e-commerce platforms, and the main reason I'm going for Shopify at the moment is that it appears to integrate directly with many of the print-on-demand providers, so that is the main driver. Also, it is very much an off-the-shelf e-commerce platform, so for a fixed monthly fee, I think of about $30, you've got an e-commerce website that is good to go. So I'll set up the e-commerce website and add the 10 products, and then I'll then integrate the website itself with my chosen provider so that it automates the process so that when the order comes in, it goes directly through to the provider without me having to manually place the order with the print on demand company. Once that's all in place, I'll set up my Facebook business page because you need the Facebook business page to be able to set up the Facebook ads. Then once the ads are running, I'll be able to launch my business and see whether print on demand works for me and whether it's still viable in 2020. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you're thinking about starting a print on demand business, let me know in the comments below. If you're not already subscribed and you want to see my journey, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you found this useful, make sure you hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.